Hey guys, it's Matt from the DeRosa Group. Thank you and welcome to Mentorship Monday. Thanks for watching. And if you guys have real estate questions, you want to submit them to helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. That is helpme@DeRosaGroup.com. And we will answer your questions right here on the YouTube channel for you and everyone else to learn from. So today I got a good question from Theron, who's with the U.S. military. Theron's out serving our country. Thank you for doing that, Theron, and we all appreciate you. And I don't say where you are, but that's interesting because you're traveling all around, according to your email here. So Theron wants to get into real estate. He wants to get into investing, but he has an interesting dilemma. He's traveling. He goes to 6 months at this base, to 1 year at the next base, to just traveling from base to base all across our country and doing what he's doing, serving our country, right? So, and maybe you don't say this here, but perhaps you spend some time overseas and stuff like that as well. So at the end of the day, Theron is looking to buy a piece of real estate, and he gets something called a basic allowance for housing from the U.S. military, which is, again, there's an acronym for everything in the Army or in the military. So they call it a BAH. It's a basic allowance for housing. So, and what that's there for is if Theron chooses not to live on the base, he can move off the base and rent a home, or I suppose he could also buy a home, which is what he's talking about doing. So he's like, well, what should I do? What do you guys suggest? And you ask a few other questions here that I'll answer as well. So here's my lesson to you, Theron, and this is like the first lesson to all you guys, is when you're looking for areas to buy rentals in, put yourself in the renter's shoes and say, okay, well, an easy renter to figure out the dynamic for is yourself. So Theron, you're not the only, you're in your circumstance, but other people are going to want to rent that are traveling around the country, living from base to base and everything like that. So you asked me in the email about neighborhood that you should buy in. Well, buy in the neighborhoods that a lot of the folks that are in the Army are also living in, or in the military are also living in as well, like where there's a high concentration of military families that transfer from place to place. And the reason I say that is when you go to rent it out, you're probably going to rent it to someone who's exactly like you. Who's got a wife and maybe a kid, is going to want to rent for 6 months or a year in a property while they serve the country in the military, right? So get inside your own head and rent towards amenities that you and your wife may want to be a part of. So get your wife's input as well, because you are your potential tenant. And so that's neighborhood that you should look for. And also, of course, you got to run the numbers and make sure that the rent's right, and make sure that the rent matches with the purchase price and with the cash for the property and everything like that. Now, you also want to do some research on property management, because as you allude to in the email, you're going to be leaving a little trail of houses all around the country as you move from place to place and buy a house, live in it with your wife for a couple of years or for 6 months or whatever it is, and then move to the next place. You're going to be needing someone to manage that property for you, and so consider, I don't know if the government provides something like that for like maybe a housing relocation program, or someone that can help you find tenants that are relocating officers with the government. So maybe that's a source you could look into, and then see if you can find a local maintenance company that'll do the regular handyman maintenance for you. So those are some tips, Theron. I think you've got something really cool going on, and I think that if you can find a way to think like someone in your circumstance on places they're going to want to live, you should be able to find pretty good properties when you're out there bopping around. And perhaps you can locate some good sources of financing as you move from place to place as well, with regards to maybe FHA financing or other types of homeowner financing as you occupy each of these pieces of real estate when you move into them. You're also going to run into some stuff around LLCs and everything as you continue to do this, but worry about that after deal 2 or 3. For now, just hold these properties in your own personal name until you get all of the logistics and the nuts and bolts figured out. But if you decide to do this long-term all the way out until 2013, then consider some sort of an entity, an LLC, for buying the properties as you build the portfolio. So thank you, Theron. Thank you guys for watching. And again, it's helpme@DeRosaGroup.com with your real estate questions. And check out our newsletter too. If you guys want to hear some stuff that DeRosa Group's up to, you should be able to subscribe to the newsletter right here on the YouTube page at that button up top. And also check out the DeRosa Group's website if you guys want to hear some stuff that DeRosa Group's up to these days, and stay in touch with us. So thank you again, Theron. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great and profitable week.